Creators! Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Christy. I'm a mom who loves crafting, DIYs, and makeup. So today's video is the April challenge, and it is using trash to create treasure. So anything that you would be putting in your trash can, your recycle bin, you're supposed to use that and create something. Our host this month is Casey over at Coffee with My Sunshine. Be sure to go check out her channel. In the description box down below, there will also be a link to the playlist. Make sure you go watch all of those videos because I'm sure there's going to be lots of awesome things. Okay, so let's get started. On two of these projects, we're going to start off with some cardboard. Just regular old cardboard box. Mine came from Amazon. I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint. I'm using white today. I'm going to paint all of my pieces of cardboard. I actually only end up using 2 of these pieces that I end up painting. And I want to apologize. Normally at the beginning of my videos, I start off with a supply list and show you a picture of what we're going to be creating. And I didn't even find this open invite until just a few days ago, so I ran out of time, so I didn't get all of that done, so I'm very sorry. So this big piece of cardboard, we are going to end up turning it into a large sign that I'm going to put in my hallway. It will be painted white, and then we are going to trim it in some small little wood, and then we're going to write home down the center. And then for the O, I'm actually going to use some of my floral and make a little green wreath. Here I'm trying to speed the process along. I'm drying it with my heat tool. I do put 2 coats of paint on all of my cardboard, and then after the second coat, just because it's cardboard and it has those small little bumps on the surface, I go back with quite a bit of paint on my paintbrush and kind of do like X's or hash marks. You can kind of see it here where I'm not painting straight across. I'm like doing X's, and I'm kind of globbing quite a bit of paint on there, and that helps give it just a little bit of texture, just so you can't tell that it's cardboard. And when you get completely done with this, you cannot tell that this is cardboard. It looks like you have made this sign out of wood. Now I'm going to take a set of the burner covers from the Dollar Tree. Since I already have my paint out, I'm going to go ahead and give those 2 coats of paint. And in the meantime, that sign can completely finish drying. That's why I went ahead and did this. Okay, I'm going to take the heat tool to these to try to speed my drying along. And of course I touch it to see if it's dry, and it is not. But we will fix that fingerprint in a minute. Here we go with coat number 2, and this side that we're painting right now will actually be the underside, but I went ahead and gave it a coat of paint just to kind of give it a finished look. Once we get that second coat of paint on there, we will give it some dry time, and we will go back over to the cardboard. And this is where I was talking, where I got like quite a bit of paint on my brush and just kind of did like X's and swirls. just to give that cardboard a little bit of texture so it didn't look like cardboard. And then now I'm gonna flip these over and paint the good side. This is the side you actually will see. So go ahead and I think I do 2 coats of paint here, and then I kind of retouch up the edges since those will be seen as well. I hope you guys are enjoying this tutorial today. We are going to turn these into an adorable little farmhouse tier tray. We're gonna make it look like enamel. We're going to put some black around the edges and kind of give it that worn look. And then we are going to take, of all things, a Pringle can and cover it in some twine. And it ends up being so cute. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Now we are going to get out our ink Waverly chalk paint, and I'm just using a little sponge and going around that top edge. Like I said, this will give it that enamel look. And once I go all the way around, then I kind of go back and just put a little bit more paint in some areas just to give it that extra worn. You know how the enamel always has those little extra worn spots? And then I'm also going to make a couple of little just kind of spots. Enamel always has that aged look to it, especially when you find a really cool old piece of enamel. So I just tried to give it those little wear marks. And then I go back on the bottom edge and do the same there. And here I'm just finishing up, giving it any more little spots of wear and tear that I thought would look cute. Now I am going to get out the Pringles can, and I used a little bit of baking soda inside of it and let it sit for a little while, and that got that barbecue smell out of there. So now I'm going to get my hot glue gun and I'm going to start gluing the twine to the container, and I'm going to glue it all the way up to the top. And this, I at first thought I was just going to wrap it and not glue it, but that maroon color from the can kept kind of wanting to show through, so I did glue quite a few of the first part of the can, almost all the way around, about 1/3 of the way up. But then once I got past that point, I figured out that I could wrap it and wrap it and wrap it and then push it down with my fingers really well, and it kind of covered all of that up. So sorry for the you're having to watch round and round and round and round of glue. Me being such an awesome videographer, I didn't realize that I was out of frame on this, so I apologize. I'm just finishing up gluing that to the Pringles can. I did go all the way up just so it would look completely finished. And then I'm going to cut the end of the twine. And we are going to put some hot glue. You could also use E6000. I didn't because this tray won't be moved around a lot. It will just be sitting on my entryway table. So I just used hot glue for this. But like I said, you could very easily throw in some super glue or E6000 as well and make it last a little longer, especially if you're going to be moving it around. And I just put quite a bit of glue on there and then just centered it and pushed down. And then I'm going to put some hot glue around the top edge. And again, you could have also added some E6000. I didn't think it was necessary for what I was going to be using it for. Now we're going to go back to our wood sign. And I'm sorry that I'm jumping around. Normally I don't do that. Normally I finish one project completely and then go on to the next one. But because I was waiting for paint to dry and all of that, that's kind of why I skipped around. So I have these square wooden dowels. I ordered them off Amazon. You can get a whole bunch for a small price and they will ship it right to your door. And I am cutting those so that I can make my trim for around the edge of my cardboard. And this will give it that finished, you bought it at the store look. And I realize I'm not measuring this like I'm supposed to. I started off trying to measure it, and I thought, who are we kidding? I am not a carpenter. So I literally just held it up to the cardboard and kind of marked it with my pencil, and then I tried to duplicate the first side that I did, and I would hold that other piece of wood up there and make the second piece the same size, and that way I knew they would be even. So don't laugh at my carpentry skills. And I started not to even include this part in there, but I thought there might be someone who actually wants to see me cut it so that they could know how to do it. I got that miter box and saw at Harbor Freight. I think for the saw and the miter box, it was like, if I remember correctly, I think like $11 or $12 for both. So that's, you know, not a lot of money for something that you could use quite a bit. You can use those also to cut down your craft sticks if you use craft sticks or, you know, popsicle sticks in any of your DIYs. So, and here I'm trying to see if I got it even enough that it would work. That little one that I just showed, it does end up being a little bit lopsided, but once you get it on your little tier tray, you can't tell, so it's not that big a deal if it's not exactly perfectly square. So here I'm starting on the large sign, and this one, you guys, it turns out to be so cute. I love it so much. Like I said, I'm hanging it in my hallway right now, and it is so cute. Like, it is literally something I would go buy at the store. So I'm super proud of it. It turned out really cute. Okay, now that I've got them all cut, I'm going to start staining, I guess you would call it. I'm not actually using stain. A friend of ours he made his own line of chalk paint, and this is some of the antique wax that he sold with it, and he had given us some to use because we used to redo a lot of chalk painted furniture. And so this was something I had left over from then, and I just went ahead and used it. I mean, it turned out just as good as my stain does. I just rubbed it on like I would a stain, and then took a paper towel and wiped it back down, and it looked really good. I do know that there are some crafters out there that take you can use some of your brown acrylic paints and mix a little bit of water with it, and that actually works as a stain as well. Or you could even leave it as this natural wood. I just wanted this little bit of a darker finish for this particular sign, so that's why I did this. Now we are going to start assembling. I'm going to take that smaller piece of cardboard, and I'm trying to figure out which ones were the same length, because there were two that were the same length and then the other two were just a little bit different of a length. It wasn't a perfect square, as I told you from my carpentry skills. And I'm just putting a little bit of hot glue in the corners. This is just going to be sitting on that tier tray, so it's not going to be moved around a lot. You could also use some wood glue. You could put a little staple on the back. I just hot glued it all. And then I hot glued the frame to the actual cardboard. And now I'm going to move that bigger sign over and start working on it. And I'm going to do the same on it. I'm just going to put some hot glue in the corners and glue my frame together first. And then I'm going to take some hot glue and put it around the edge of my cardboard and glue the frame to the cardboard. Now that I've got that all done, I'm trying to show you the texture of it. You can't really see it though. Taking this lavender floral pick from Walmart, and I'm cutting off just a few of the little sprigs, and I'm going to hot glue those down. And then once I like how it looks, I just keep going till it looks okay. And then I'm going to take a black and white buffalo check ribbon. It's like a little thin ribbon. And I'm going to cut off a piece of that and tie just a tiny little bow and put it at the bottom of the bundle so it almost looks like the little lavender picks are tied together. And I'm going to glue that down as well. So that whole thing is just hot glued together. And it turned out really cute to sit on your tier tray. It's just a little something extra. Now these letters I just went and printed off on my printer. I went and found them in Word and blew them up to a size that was big enough to fit on my sign. And here I'm trying to get the placement good. It takes me just a little bit because I want to make sure it's good and even. I'm very OCD about things, so if I would have gotten one of the letters off just a little bit, it would have bugged me forever. So I took extra time to make sure that they were all even and where they were supposed to be. I just use a small little piece of tape to hold them down so that they don't move around on me. And then once I get them all into place, usually what I do is I scribble all over the whole back side of the piece of paper and make my own carbon paper per se, if that's what you want to call it. But you can take your pencil lead and color all over the whole back side of the paper, and then you flip it over and you trace around your letter, and the pencil lead will transfer on to your surface. I didn't do that this time because I thought since it was cardboard that I could just trace around it, and since it's cardboard and it's soft, it would make a small little indention. And of course my thinking was wrong. So I was looking here to see if I could see my little indention from where I was tracing, and when I realized that you couldn't really see it, I was worried if I did the whole thing and then took the piece of paper off, I would never get it lined back up exactly, and I knew I had them right where I wanted them. So I did take a piece of carbon paper. I had a piece there to the side of me, and went ahead and used that. So if you don't have carbon paper, then go ahead and do the little pencil trick where you color all over the whole back side of the paper and do that. Or you could also use your Cricut or Silhouette. I have a Cricut and I use it sometimes, but I was trying to make it easier for those of you that don't have one so that you still had an option of what you could do to still make this. And now we are finishing up our letters, and they all actually lined up well and were straight. So pat on the back to myself. I was proud of myself for actually getting them straight. We're going to get out our ink Waverly chalk paint, and I'm going to take a fine tip paintbrush. I started out using this one from the Dollar Tree, and it was just not doing the trick. It was leaving streaks. It wasn't fine enough, so I just got out one of my other ones that are just one from Walmart. I believe it may even be Hobby Lobby, but Walmart has this brand as well, I think. And this was working so much better, so I just went ahead and used that. I do move down to a finer tip just so I can get on those little edges of all of the letters. And I will speed this up so that you don't have to sit here and watch me paint and paint and paint, because I know that's boring. So I will do a time lapse here in just a moment so that it goes quicker and I don't have to bore you guys. And if you guys don't enjoy using a paintbrush, you can always use a paint pen on this part as well. All right, so here is a pick. I had just got this off Amazon, I believe. You can probably find something similar at Walmart or Dollar Tree. This was just what I had on hand, and we all know we're not going out to the stores right now. So I'm just trying to make myself a wreath per se. And my circle just wasn't holding up very well, so I got out a piece of wire, and it was like a thicker wire, and I'm using this just to make a circle that was about the right size. I'm kind of bending it around that, and that way I can attach those little pieces to the wire and make it more of an actual circle, because like I said, I'm OCD, and if it wasn't like more of a perfect circle, it would have bugged me. So this did just make it, you know, a tad easier. So I glue all of these to the actual wire, and then I glue the wire down to the cardboard, and then I start gluing all of the little pieces that are sticking out and being unruly. I kind of glue them down to the cardboard, and that way it's more of like an actual wreath that's kind of all going where it's supposed to. And we are almost done. We're gonna go show you the finished project. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video today. I hope it's given you some inspiration of something you can create out of your trash. Turn it into something you will love. Give it a second life. Make sure before you leave to hit that subscribe button and ring the little bell right next to it so you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Leave me a comment down below, like I said last time, even if it's just to say hi. I will be uploading a new video later this week. There is another challenge that I wanted to be a part of, so make sure that in a few days you check back in and see what I create in that video. Hope you are staying safe and healthy out there, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!